Girls, till now we have seen what is the meaning for macroeconomics. Macro means large, it studied about the economy as a whole. So now let us see what is the importance of studying the macroeconomics. What is it used for? The need to study the macro is very important. Why? Because if you study the economy in the macro level only, you can easily solve the problems. For example, now we are in the pandemic period, isn't it? They are taking various steps to eradicate corona. How they are making the policies? So the problems is as a whole, not only in Tamil Nadu, as a whole in India. So the central government, they are making policies to eradicate corona uh, completely, isn't it? So if you want to solve any problems, you should have the study as a whole. So if you study the things which are happening in the macro level only, you can easily solve the problems. So it helps to make the suitable strategies and also to solve the basic problem. And the second one is, if you understand the future problems, for example, it will be affected within the month June, July, it will be very peak, or it will be less, whatever it may be. If there is a future problem, we can take the precautionary measures, isn't it? Based on the problems, we can take precautionary measures now itself. So, to understanding the problems and to take precautionary measures, we should study the economy as a whole in the large level. And the third one is this macroeconomics, it gives so many opportunities to use the simple investigation to understand the reality. So we can examine or looking keen the problems which are prevailing in the economy, and we can take necessary steps. And the fourth one is very important, to compare and analyze, isn't it? What does the pandemic situation in the previous year? How now it is? What would be in the future? So everything we can compare and analyze. You can take our day-to-day problem to study these macroeconomics, isn't it? The major problem what we are facing is corona, COVID-19. So based on that, if you see this macroeconomic importance, it will be easy for you to learn. Comparing and analyzing. So based on that comparison and analyzation, they will create policies. So macroeconomics is very, very important to study. So it is need to study macroeconomics. And these are the 5 points which helps to know the importance and the need for introducing and studying the macroeconomics. And the next one we are going to see the scope of macroeconomics. Now let us see what is the scope of macroeconomics. What do you mean by scope? Scope is nothing but useful, purpose. What is the purpose of macroeconomics? What is the use of macroeconomics? So if you study macroeconomics, it will be easy to learn all these things which is followed. The first one is national income. That already you have learned in your previous classes, I think so. Isn't it? What is national income, girls? National income is nothing but the goods and services which are produced in a year. The value of goods and services produced in a year, isn't it? Value of goods and services produced in a particular period of time, we say in a year, is called national income. So to study the national income or the macroeconomics provides opportunity to study about national income, because it is in the macro level, isn't it? National income means It talks about the income of a country as a whole. So, macroeconomics helps to study about national income and also the measurement of national income and the composition, because if you are calculating the national income, it is the composition of three sectors, that is primary, secondary and tertiary sector. What do you mean by primary sector? Agriculture is the primary sector of India. The secondary sector, industries are the secondary sectors. What is the service sector or the tertiary sectors? Army, doctors, teachers, those people are included in the service sector. So the income from all the three uh, sectors is included in the national income. So while we are studying about the national income, we analysis the income from all these three sectors. That is from the agricultural, what is the contribution of agriculture in the for the national income, and what is the contribution of the industries to the national income, and what is the contribution of the service sector to the national income. Usually in India, major contribution is done only by the service sector. Initially, during the independence period, the national income was, the major contributor of the national income is agriculture. Then it changed to develop industries. Now the major contributor of the national income is service sector only. So to study all these things, macroeconomics helps. And inflation. This is a new term you are learning. The inflation is nothing but the steady increase in the price level. It is called inflation. There are various type of inflation that you will study in the lessons at the afterwards. Forthcoming lessons you will study about what is inflation, different types of inflation. Here just you should know what is inflation. Inflation is nothing but the steady increase in the price level. So how will you calculate the price is increasing? While you are listening to the news, you can hear that for example, last week news was there. இந்த மாதிரி சொன்னாங்க, பெட்ரோல் வந்து ஒரு 15 நாளாக விலையே ஏற்றமில்லாத பெட்ரோல் நம்ம ரிசல்ட்டுக்கு அப்புறம், எலெக்ஷன் ரிசல்ட்டுக்கு அப்புறம் 25 பைசே இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகிருக்கு, 4 rupees இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகிருக்கு. ஸோ ஒரு கம்பேரிசன் வச்சுட்டு இன்ஃப்ளேஷன் எவ்வளோ தூரத்துக்கு ப்ரைஸ் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகிருக்கு அப்படின்னு படிக்கிறதுக்கு we need macroeconomics. So macroeconomics used to study about the inflation. Business cycle or trade cycle. This also you will study at the forthcoming lessons. Business cycle is nothing but all the economic system, they face the business cycle. While in our day-to-day life also we are facing. ஒரு சில பீரியடில் we will be in boom, நல்ல ப்ராஸ்பரோட நல்ல ஹை லெவலில் இருப்போம். திடீர்னு கொஞ்சம் பிஸ்னஸ் டல் ஆகிடுச்சு அப்படின்னா கொஞ்சம் டவுன் ஆகும். கண்டினியூஸாக பிஸ்னஸ் டவுன் ஆகிடுச்சுன்னா ரொம்ப லோ லெவலுக்கு போயிடுவாங்க. திருப்பி ஏதாவது கடன் வாங்கி திருப்பி மேலே வருவாங்க. ஸோ இந்த ஃப்ளக்சுவேஷன்ஸ் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறோம்ல, திஸ் ஃப்ளக்சுவேஷன்ஸ் இந்த எக்கானமி இஸ் கால்டு ட்ரேட் சைக்கிள். To study about the business cycle or the trade cycle, macroeconomics useful. It helps to study about this. And the next one is poverty and unemployment. This is the most important problem that the developing economy and the underdeveloped economy faces a lot. The rich resources nations, even like India, we are facing the problem, isn't it? Poverty and unemployment. These are the major problems that the underdeveloped economies face. So to eradicate, what are the policies to be done what are the steps to be taken. So everything can be studied only with the help of macroeconomics. So it helps to allocate the resources and initiating the corrective methods. What are the things to be done? What are the schemes to be introduced? Everything can be done with the help of macroeconomics only. And economic growth. The growth and the developing of the economy is depends upon the factors determining them, isn't it? Economic growth, everything included, both economic factors and non-economic factors. If you studied about the economic factors, we used to study about many things. That is the economic factors like we can say natural resources, capital, financial, foreign trade, everything comes under economic system, economic resources, factors. Non-economic, political, health, population, these are all called non-economics. So both economic and non-economic factors determine the growth of economy. So while we are studying the macroeconomics, we studied about census, isn't it? The population. That is a non-economic factor which helps for the economic growth. We studied about foreign trade, international trade, macroeconomics. So this is an economic factor. So if you studied both economic and non-economic factor only, you can attain the growth, economic growth. So in the rendayum padichu macroeconomics la ulla economic factors as well as the non-economic factors are to be studied to attain economic growth. So in the trade, population, we studied only through macroeconomics only. And the last one is economic policies. So it helps to evaluate the suitable economic policies. Already I said, isn't it? So these are why we need policies, because they need to solve the basic problems. Without a scheme or policy, we cannot solve any measures to eradicate or to take precautionary measures. So there should be some policies, there should be some schemes to overcome the crisis. So to make economic policies, to overcome the obstacles, to attain the economic growth, we have to implement some policies. So if you want to implement the policies, macroeconomics only useful to you to make policies. So these are the importance and the scope of macroeconomics. In the next video, we can see what are the limitations of macroeconomics.